You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast. I am here with Anna and Paul as usual. Hey, guys, how's it going? You don't have to answer that, but, just acknowledge that you're here. Sorry?
Careful, Paul. You almost answered him.
How was your day, Paul?
Look what you started.
So, as we have mentioned several times now throughout the course of our show and social media posts every now and then, we have had some emails over the last couple of months, about 4 of them to be precise, and we do try to address these as they come in. It's just we generally don't do it when we have guests on the show for various reasons I won't go into right now, but we've been deferring these a lot to the point that we just had enough that we decided to make a full episode out of. So we apologize for the delayed response in getting back to you if you've written to us, but here you go. You get your whole episode to yourself.
Yeehaw.
Okay.
That was a weird choice. Yeah. I didn't know there was a Western theme to the mailbag today.
I was thinking like Freddie Farkas,
How is that Freddie Farkas? How is any of this Freddie Farkas? Including what you said.
Just a Western theme, yo.
Why?
This episode has a real sepia tone to it. All right.
You just have to listen to it with one eye closed and you'll be fine.
I hope one of these questions has anything to do with Western. Like, even if it was just sent from Arizona.
It's going to now. It's obviously going to now that you said that, just because.
Exactly. I'm just trying to tie it all in, fellas.
It's been a while since I've read these, so I don't even remember what some of them say. They very well could be asking about Westerns.
Exactly.
All right. So, first email comes to us by Matt Flinton. He says, hi, my name is Matt. I want to say I love your podcast. Thank you very much. I really appreciate praise.
Yeah, thank you.
I've only been listening for a short while. However, I'm a big adventure game fan. It's nice to hear somebody talk about Space Quest and King's Quest and the Black Cauldron and the Colonel's Request. Although we've never really talked about Black Cauldron yet, have we?
No. Except for just now.
Yeah.
As of immediately. I've never actually played Black Cauldron, but anyways.
Neither. Yeah.
When people used to tell me they were fans of adventure games, what they would say is they never actually finished one, got about halfway through, and quit. I am sad to say I have used many a walkthrough, but I try to finish as many adventure games as I can. I am wondering what you guys think of the game Draugen by Ragnar Turnquest. I loved it. I was very surprised by the end. I've never actually heard of Draugen, so I if you liked it, then that's definitely a good recommendation, I suppose. I'll look into that, but I literally have never heard of that before.
How would you go about beginning to spell that?
With a D.
Ah, fantastic.
Well, you asked how I would go about beginning to spell it.
No, we're on the same page. I'm just waiting further instruction.
All you asked was the beginning.
I've inputted one D.
All you asked was the beginning. You could have just asked, how do you spell that? Draugen. All right, let's look this up right now, actually. Let's give him something to talk about.
Well, I thought you were going to leave room to pause and do this and then come back into the episode like we knew what we were talking about, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We don't
Honestly, this game's great. Yeah, I've played it lots. No, but it looks very pretty. 1920s Norway.
Whoa, it does look really nice. Jeez,
so it's new. It's new. So it's like 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, we're allowed to not have played this then.
Yes.
/ heard of it, yeah.
But it does look really cool. So, here's a Steam page. So let's see what they have to say about it.
Man, these color palettes are crazy good.
Look at those backgrounds. Look at that shading, the mountain.
So if Paul is praising it and it's not pixel art, that definitely means high things.
Nice reflection
it looks
work.
Really good.
It's
I'm not
like
going to
that.
play it.
What is it?
But it looks really good.
I've never played it either, so people, you can shoot me if you want, but it looks kind of like The Last of Us, how they have like the realistic faces and stuff. Maybe I'm way off, but just from commercials and stuff.
No, that's mean. That's mean to say to Matt, because well, it's just bad manners. I don't think it really needs to be pointed out that I said a rude thing. I can't really backpedal out of it though. Unfortunately, I really talked myself into a corner here because I'm not going to just start lying.
Wait, when did you say that was rude?
That I'm not going to play it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not pixel art, and if I did play games that weren't pixel art, I would play this one. What a dick! I'm such a snob. Like, why do you even have to point that out? You know,
support indies. Come on.
Oh, I do buy games I don't play all the time. Yeah,
that's true. Just buy it, then all is forgiven.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
that's
deal.
fair. They did the same people that did The Longest Journey, or the same studio, anyways.
It does look cool. Again, it's don't take it personally, anybody, if it takes me a while to get around to this one, just because backlogs being what they are. But I am actually right now actively adding it to my wish list, so I'll be kept updated and informed as things develop. But thank you for bringing it to our attention. For those of you out there who are looking for a good game, especially indies, indie adventure games, we love to support those. Draugen is on Steam, so go check that out.
Yes, Draugen with a D.
And let us know what you think of it, because you're probably, if you are so inclined to play this, you're probably going to get around to it before any of us do, except Anna. Maybe Anna might play it.
Maybe. Thanks for putting it on me. Yeah. Sure.
I'm not opposed. I am absolutely not opposed. It's just that there are so many games that I need to play before this. It'll be a while.
Tell me that this is good. There's so much work and effort clearly put into the graphics and movement of this game. I almost feel like there's too much graphics for anything else to be good. But you're telling me that they hit it on the mark on both. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and Matt, if you have experience with Black Cauldron, write us back and tell us a bit about that game, because the three of us haven't played it. I want to, but every time I go to, I kind of avoid it because the parser is not there, which is both intriguing but also kind of why I don't want to play it. But I've never. I don't know. I just don't hear much about that game besides mentions of it. I don't hear much from people who've played it. So maybe write us back and let us know what you think of that game if you think we should play it.
Okay, so let's move on to question number 2. Email number 2, I should say. Let's see here. This was actually a really long email. I showed it to you guys before. It's filled with a lot of praise for us. This comes to us from Lester, so thank you very much for all of the email that leads up to the actual question.
Thanks, Lester.
Yeah, thanks, Nate.
We really appreciate your words. But he ends on the question, "Hey, Paul," and I'm going to assume probably extended to the two of us as well, you and me, Anna. The music for the podcast is great. Could you talk a little bit on how you got involved in music and what artists, bands you like?
Oh, this is like about me. Now I feel on the spot and mine are the end. Yeah, okay, all right.
This is you. Go, Paul, go.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much. That's really nice of you. The reason I got into it was music was probably like Slash from Guns N' Roses and Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. Those two guys alone are probably responsible for me picking up an instrument. And then I got really weirdly into movie scores, and so that probably affects some of like the little project things I've got out there. They're a little dramatic. They're a little long-winded, long in the tooth, if you will. I get it. It's it's not a great time to be putting out 6-minute long tracks, but they're there. But yeah, no, I like liking things. I don't have a wide spectrum of bands and such I like, because I'm kind of narrow-minded or easily content with what I already know. But yeah, from like I don't listen to Guns N' Roses anymore. I can't handle the voice. It's I had a tolerance for it as a youngster, but it's just so as the children would say, it's just so extra. Like,
I get it. You only listen to the karaoke version now. That makes sense.
Wait, extra is a bad thing now? I thought basic was the bad thing. Now extra is bad? What are we supposed to be?
Well, it's extra in this. I don't know. First, let me just take a time out to address that. Yeah, no idea. But I mean, extra, like, just relax.
I just can't. I can't cross generationally English.
Well, yeah, you really sold that. It's
Anything else you would like to say on the matter?
I don't think so. That's a lot of me. We're good.
Anna, what kind of artists and bands do you like?
Oh, wait, aren't you going to ask me about my music career first? That was the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the music on the podcast. It's great.
I used to take piano lessons when I was a kid, and I like to listen to all sorts of music, and none of it would make sense. My playlist is very confusing, but if you like songs, there's probably one of the songs you like on it. So I'll say that.
I think that's a good way to sum it up, honestly. Sorry, before I start taking over, was there anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, that was, I like hearing about your music, Paul. What were you going to say?
Give us three things off your playlist. Like okay. just to give listeners an idea of what what is on there.
Oh, well, there's probably Offspring is on one of my playlists. I probably have something that's not terribly offensive. Hang on, I'm blanking because you're asking me a question. Give me a second to look at my playlist.
Okay, here's a question for you, actually. If you had spent your life towards music, what kind of music would you be making now?
Nice.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I'd love to be doing something with the Beatles, some sort of a harmony thing. So if I was in music, I'd be singing in a band and doing something with harmony.
Okay.
Yeah. Even now, like, I don't do karaoke. I never have, but I love to sing with people in harmony. So I guess the Beatles is going to be on every one of my playlists. Hey, I've got this band called the Volume Remote on my playlist. It's right there. They've got some great music.
You actually listen to that?
He's on my shop playlist. So actually I listen to, how many songs do I have on my main playlist? Let me just check here. I have Mace, Haymaker, Parliament Square, Particles, and Bomb Squad International. Those are my favorites.
So do you have any country or western on your music?
Yeah, Garth Brooks. I love and know all of his songs.
Okay. I'm just trying to tie the western thing back into this somehow.
It's
I saw
right there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's nice tie-in. It's not coming from my side, so I appreciate it. Good.
All right. Anything else?
No.
What about you?
Great. Moving on.
Nice try. Hey, come on. You like music, Rick. You've got to at least give us a couple of bands.
I do. I feel like I've said this so many times already, which is not a jab at the question itself. I get bored of things that I say. So it's just that I kind of was hoping I could duck out of this one. But I think very similar to you, I just don't really have a centralized taste in music, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of music there's more music that I don't like than what I do. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I just like what I do like, I latch onto and I love it for like 20 years.
Yep.
And that's about it. It's my musical tastes are pretty broad in genre, like fairly. There's a few genres that are very underrepresented, I'll admit that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's like this, it's like the inner circle that it's really hard to get into, but once you're in, you're in.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
Yeah, right. You and your flogging mollies and garbage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard for me to really go into, like, if I have a particular, what are my tastes? Because, like, I'll name like three bands and they all completely contradict each other. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, my playlist is owned by somebody with dementia. It's just...
Oh. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we know. Yeah. I've got like No Effects and then Bobby Darin like back to back on one of my playlists. It gets weird.
It's great.
It varies.
It's like when I'm working at my wood shop, it's all gangster rap all day, and then occasionally you'll get some like Bob Marley or something going on. You just got to change the pace occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Damian Marley's great too, like him.
Oh yeah.
And I will say too, I listen to a musician called Wax a lot, which you guys know. But if anybody's listening hasn't checked out, do that because he's an indie artist. Like he it's like up to me and people that like him to say go listen to it, right? So
Yeah,
I should
fair
probably
enough.
tell you guys to go do that. It's if you like music, you might like it.
Well, you two are really good at answering questions. I find that hard to do. That's tricky. Good job.
It's a real good team building exercise, this whole episode.
I will say one thing about my musical tastes. I probably would not even be particularly insulted if you say that I have bad taste in music, because there's like so many legendary, influential musicians that I just can't get into. Mm-hmm. So there was the other day this meme about which of these like rock legends or musical legends would you buy a ticket for? You can only buy one, and it's like all these it was like 9 iconic dead musicians that you'll never be able to hear again.
I went for Tupac, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, these are all like some of the greatest, most influential musicians in history. Mm-hmm. And I like had to think about it, because I'm like, who would I actually want to spend money on a ticket to see? I couldn't come up with an answer. So I'm like,
I love Tupac because he's been putting out music since he's been dead for since 1996. Man, the man has not stopped putting out the tunes. It's just, I'd love to see the guy that can come up with that many tunes after he dies. That's great.
Fair enough. You could probably actually see a concert of his now.
Well, you can, because they had him all holographic like 10 years ago, and he did a whole concert. It looked so wild.
Actually, you know what? Now that you say that, I think I remembered reading about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty sweet, the footage on that. I love that. And punk music's great too, and rap music, rock music. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah, everything.
Oh, I see that meme now. I had to look at it. Yeah, I would go Amy Winehouse on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go to rehab with her. Yeah.
I love Amy Winehouse.
I know that I should. I know that she is kind of like the kind of music that I would like, but I just never actually got around to listening to very much of her.
No, just the one song really is.
If you do check out, she had a live, I think it was MTV, but it's a video, and it's called Rehab, obviously. But I don't know. I'll message it to you later. It's really good.
Okay, cool.
I'm kind of that way where
the rehab worked for her. So
yeah. Whoops. I'm a big fan of live albums with bands. Like, I feel like it's like
how could it work? She wouldn't go. She said no.
You cut Paul off for that.
I did. It's important. It's so important. Now you may carry on, Paul, if you haven't forgotten what you were saying.
It's but yeah, do the thing I said a second ago, or the question I asked. I don't know.
You're going to send us the link, and we're going to watch Amy Winehouse, not go to rehab. And, I apologize to anybody we've offended with if that wasn't
with
edited
everything
out
that we just said
previously.
Here. I made fun of her dying. I'm sorry about that.
We're not laughing about that. We're laughing about Rick.
Yes. I just realized now, I'm just such a psychopath that I just realized now that was something I probably shouldn't have done.
No, that's a sociopath thing to do, isn't it? Are you sure? I don't think you're right.
I think you're right. That is kind of more sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are actually correct on that. But yeah. So that's our musical tastes in a nutshell there.
Yeah. Confusing and angry, but it's okay.
Oh man. Okay, let's actually, sorry, I'm not moving on yet. I'm very mixed bag on live performance CDs. I love live performances, and I feel that it kind of gets a little bit lost once you make it a CD.
Oh my God, I feel that so much.
I love the CD version, and I love seeing them live. When you take live and put it onto CD, quite often, and there are notable exceptions.
Of course.
But quite often I find that you just kind of oh, well, that's just getting the worst of both worlds.
Oh God, so much. And I'm like, can you at least sound like the sound is supposed to sound?
I've actually even went to a live performance. It was one of the first concerts I've ever been to. I'm not going to say which one. But I heard it and it was awesome. I heard it and it was awesome. And I loved it. And I was like, wow, that sounds better than the CD because it's there and she's doing it and it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then many years later, I tracked it down once YouTube was invented. I was like, I want to look that up again because I was, nostalgia. Obviously, I'm all about nostalgia. I wanted to see that first concert I went to, and sure enough, there was actually some bootleg footage of it, and it sounded horrible. And it's just like she's not singing anywhere close to good and all that sort of thing. But it was so awesome when it was live.
Oh man, that's kind of like Guar. Guar transfers well to live, even on CD. Mm-hmm. They're great live.
I think it's like with the live thing, I'm not looking for, you can't capture the feeling of being there, that's for sure. So for sure, it's usually the live CDs aren't good, but when they are good, I think they're better than anything else because it'll capture it'll capture a pure energy from the band, or it'll be songs they've played a million times that they've found a few different ways to make better.
Right.
From the recording. A quick example would be Sublime, Stand By Your Van, and No Effects, I Heard They Suck Live, and the Amy Winehouse one.
Is that the name of their album?
Yeah, the No Effects one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I Heard They Suck Live is the name of the album.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if you were saying that or if that was the name. It sounds
laughing.
It sounds like the kind of name that they would have for an album.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So I wasn't entirely sure. But okay, thanks for confirming that.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples where for me where the live album is just the best in their catalog. But not all the time. An example you would know, Rick, would be Flogging Molly. One of their live albums I have, and it's horrendous. It's just just noise. It's bad. It's like everything's too fast or too drunk. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but being there live is so amazing.
Oh
yeah. I've seen them more than any other band too.
Me too.
Yeah. They're amazing.
You guys,
I think we've mentioned that before. Yeah.
We should do a podcast together.
Yeah.
You guys would get along great. Hey, do you guys like Gold Rush?
Okay, but anyways, I think I'm tapped out on that part now.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. So this one comes to us from Charles Harrington. Hi, Classic Gamers Guild podcast team. Hello.
Hello.
Just wanted to say I really enjoy your show. You've inspired me to check out some of the classic games I had yet to get around to playing. And that is awesome because that is definitely one of the goals that we do really try to honor the classics as well as promote the indies. And if we can get anyone to play classics or indies, that's definitely one of the things that we really set out to do. So thank you. We really appreciate hearing that. I was listening to your episode about the sexiest games, great handling of a spicy topic, and wondered if you would ever be interested in chatting about LGBT representation in classic games, maybe in June for Pride Month. It's a topic I've been thinking about ever since I was a kid playing these games and reacting to the way folks like me showed up in them. From coding to humor to NPCs to the rare protagonists and antagonists, it might be interesting to reflect on what players thought of these moments then and now from beloved series like Gabriel Knight, Leisure Suit Larry, Laura Bow, Police Quest, Space Quest, and even King's Quest. Anyway, just a suggestion. Keep up the fantastic work. I'm looking forward to playing the Phantom Velas when it comes out. Nice. First of all, thank you for all the praise.
Yeah.
Very much.
Thank you.
So I'll start here just by saying that I have absolutely, I would love to do an LGBTQ plus representation episode or something that addresses some of those topics or something. Yeah, I really would like to do that. And the only reason, and this, I literally mean this, the only reason we haven't done that yet is just because I am so straight and basic that I feel that I have no, I have nothing to contribute in any meaningful way to the conversation. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can ask for my completely straight male perspective on something, but that's like the opinion that is just like out there in droves anyways. And I'm not really going to be able to add anything. So if we, I'm not saying we're not ever going to, but we just need to find somebody to come, we need to find, somebody appropriate to come and talk with us about it, because the way it is right now, I'm pretty sure we're all pretty straight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it would
Paul?
appear so.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just don't.
I haven't been shown otherwise.
So far.
So I
far,
think
yeah.
in order to be optimally respectful to the subject matter, we would need more than just 3 straight people talking about LGBTQ+. And I guess also the it's one of those things where I do consider myself an ally, and I'm always constantly learning to try to understand more, but there's a lot that I don't know just because I am ignorant, and I don't want that to reflect as like any hard opinion of mine to be used against me later on, right? It's not like,
especially when you're willing to learn. Right?
Yeah, if I'm willing to learn, and if I get something wrong, I'm willing to learn. I don't want it out there on like this, on this like uneditable record that I said this thing that was horrible,
Right.
just because like I was ignorant, right? And it just comes from ignorance, and maybe I shouldn't be ignorant about some of those things, but unfortunately, I just am. And I just because nobody tells me these things, like there's so many things that are offensive that I never got the memo on. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, once I know, then I'll straighten up. But just like, I have to know these things. I feel like I'm going to say something that'll be horribly offensive without even meaning it. I am totally pro, everything LGBTQ plus, and equal rights and human rights and all of that sort of thing. Sorry. But yeah,
no,
so I'm just not going to be able to handle it. Yeah, I'm just not going to be able to handle it in as respectful a manner as I want it to be.
Well, it makes me think about that in classic games. Like we covered the Red Strings Club kind of a while ago, I guess, really. And that had some elements of it, and there was also some issues behind the development regarding sexuality that we talked about a little bit on the show. You know, we tiptoed around, I guess you'd say, for all the same reasons that you just listed, mate, which was just, you know, out of respect and not really wanting to make, you know, we were very like political. We didn't bloody take any stances. We just read the news. But but as far as classic games, just on the subject real quick, can you guys think of any sort of representation at all? And I'll start and go, the only one that I can think of is Larabo 2 Tiger Faman Ra.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of in memory that stands out.
Well, there but I'm not necessarily sure that there's positive representations nearly as much as negative ones.
I was going to say I haven't really encountered anything until the last 10 years or so where a lot of the games give you more of an option to be with somebody that's same sex. I mean, even looking at Stardew Valley, like my son, he played it. The first thing he did, he married another male and he named it after his best friend and they lived together. And, you know, it's nice to have choices in games. And before we couldn't. I personally, if I play a game, I often choose to be a male in a game going for a female. Right. But sometimes I'm going to go for whoever I'm going to go for, girl or boy in a game. So pardon any ignorance on my side either, but that's how I look at it. I want to have a choice to like whoever I like in a game, and I don't care what sex they are. I just want to do it how I want to do it. And I like that now that world is finally opening up in games, and it wasn't before. It was very mandatory, you know, you boy, you like girl. Okay, good, done.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And again, a lot of the representation would be talking about the error of the ways of the depictions back then, how they were usually the butt of the jokes.
Yeah, we might be picking on a few developers more than others.
Yeah. And again, that's not even to say that like we're all like we grew up at that time and we found it funny then. We understand the context of the time that it came up in. We're not trying to, you know, raise the pitchforks at anyone right now. But, you know, we do recognize in hindsight, hey, you know, that wasn't as cool as we accepted it back then. You know, not retroactively changing our opinion, but just sort of saying, oh, yeah, you know what? Knowing now what we know, they probably shouldn't have done that. But
I wouldn't have quoted it, you know, and stuff.
But, I mean, yeah, there's like Leisure Suit Larry examples. I think some people had some issues with Space Quest 4. and such like that. We'd have to do a little bit of research, but again, like I said,
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, like I said, the 3 straight people talking about LGBTQ plus. We really do need other voices in the conversation that aren't just ours. But it's also, I'm glad you brought up Red Strings Club, because I was actually thinking about that too, and that's a very good illustration, and us kind of being a little bit not ready to tackle the elephant in the room on that one, because I didn't know which side, because, playing it, I was kind of like, hey, that was really progressive, and then, we read the criticism saying, though, that was really bad, and then, and then it was on both sides, because, like, the developers were LGBTQ plus, and they're like, well, we're the ones who did this, so we're fine with it.
Right.
And it's like, well, I don't know whose side to be on anymore in terms of just being on, in terms of like choosing the right side.
A curious case, it really was, because the critics attacked it as if it was made by straight people. And I don't think that they didn't know, because the creators behind it seemed pretty open, at least by then. But the point was they kind of came at it like, how dare you represent like that? And they're like, hey, we are.
Yeah.
So it was really, really kind of a sticky situation. But at the end of the day, I do recall siding with the developers, because, again, it felt safe. I'm like, first of all, I liked the game. I didn't find it offensive. That's not my call to make. But because the developers who made it are, I feel safe to join that side.
Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. We'll tell you what, dear listeners, if you know somebody in the community who is like, someone prominent in the community, like a game dev or someone like that, who is LGBTQ plus, let us know, like, write to us, let us know. And, we'll find out, or look into at least, and, give us a lead. Yeah.
And maybe let them know why we're coming, so Rick doesn't have to be like, oh wait, actually, never mind. That can't go to air.
All right. So, any final thoughts on that? I'm going to take that as a no.
No, I mean, that was my representation. Freedom and choice in games, and no judgment on any side. And as far as I know, that's a great step forward compared to the previous decades of gaming before it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say I'm fully for. I mean, I love, like, Saints Row, and that they do, like, the, you can do whatever.
Exactly.
And I do like, was it Cyberpunk where they kind of had, like, some, like, a bunch of different options for gender or something, and everyone, like, threw a hissy fit over it. I'm like, then just don't do the thing. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It was, like, something that was totally optional. I think it's, like, in character creation, you were allowed to have several options.
Right.
And then, like, the anti-SJW brigade came out. Like, and it's like, then don't do the thing. Seriously, how easily offended are you guys?
I think even Dragon's Age gives you options for stuff like that, too. That's 2012, right? Yeah. So 10 years ago.
It's funny. Those people who call other people snowflakes are like the biggest snowflakes ever.
Totally, they're crying.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, crying, you gave us options that we don't have to use.
Oh, shout out to bloody Space Quest, because they at least had the intention of letting the character be a female in the beginning. So that's something.
Did they really?
And it wasn't shot down because of the girl thing. It didn't make the game because of disk space. I don't know if I read that from Sean's book, The Sierra Adventure. Go bloody buy that. Or if I heard it from a Pushing Up Roses video. Right. It's one of the two. And if it was Roses, then she was in contact with Scott to have said that. Mm-hmm. It was Roses. Yeah, I know too many specific details.
I don't remember reading about that in the book, so.
Okay, so moving on. This email comes to us from John Otter, which I believe actually came right before we started recording the show. So this is like real last second, but they got it in just in time for me to read it for this episode.
John. Nice job.
Yeah, so good timing there. I'm a longtime listener and fan of the show, and I was hoping to hear more about the game you are making on the show. I'm surprised it hasn't come up much, but I'd like to hear more about the game in general, from the story to how it came about. The art looks really cool. It has an AGI look, but with a kind of modern take on it. I really like the character sprites and the dramatic backgrounds. And from what I saw in Trolls' video on it, it looks very well written. I laughed out loud at one point, which is both sincere and rare. Some developers use Twitch to stream development. Maybe you could use your platform, the podcast, to give listeners a 10-minute update at the end of each episode. I'd imagine it would make us feel a part of it. Take care. Thank you for the laughs, John. There's a couple PSs afterwards, but let's address this one first. Well, I'm glad you say that, because I've been kind of deliberately leaving it off just because I didn't want to make the show about us. And I didn't want this just to be a self-promotional thing, more so than we already are, just by virtue of trying to stay active. I don't know about spending a whole lot of time on each episode, but if people would feel more part of the process if we do regular updates, I have no problem with that if Paul doesn't.
Well, I'd like regular updates, guys.
Well, we talk to you all the time.
I know. But not always on air. Yeah, they can hear you telling me. That's special.
Yeah.
She's like, that's behind the curtain. Damn it, Rick.
We don't actually, he's lying. We don't talk outside of this podcast at all, guys. I swear.
I have them blocked on everything. I gave him a fake number.
It's a real Mick Jagger, Keith Richards sort of thing here. We just hate each other.
We're the Gallaghers, really.
That's right. It's dysfunctional, but really deep down, we do love each other. It's all right. Deep.
As for pretty much everything that people like out of playing the demo, that's pretty much majority is thanks to Paul. If you laugh at anything, unless it's like one or two specific examples, then it's Paul's joke and not mine. So, and all the graphics and coding and programming, everything's Paul except for, especially in the demo, I was less involved than I am going to be moving forward. So, as of the demo, anything that you like, it's like a 99% chance that it was Paul responsible for it.
Well, as delightful as that is, it's a misrepresentation, because this what Rick does besides co-writing is really just difficult to put into words, but he keeps the whole thing together.
He manages to put it into words.
Yeah, exactly. I give him this
so
nonsense.
Well. Exactly.
And he's like, okay, here's how, a human being would do that.
I'm not saying I don't do anything. I'm just saying that if somebody laughed at something that happened in the demo, 99% chance it was something you wrote. Just because my obvious contributions to the demo only come out in like 5 instances.
Yeah, your contributions to the demo are notably a bit thankless, because people won't realize what a potential train wreck it was until you came on board and we just stopped everything and started all over again. We'll from day 2 on over again. Well, yeah, kind of all over again.
There was quite a lot of changes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they may never know.
Yeah. But again, my job is not to rewrite the whole thing. It was more just sort of like, you gave me your idea of the story that it should be, and I just kind of made sure that everything's staying consistent to that.
Yeah, well, and also framed out how, timing things. You taught me a bit about actual writing to make impact with certain characters, introductions, and yeah, you're very good at selling yourself short, and you do it in a way that makes me want to say, and then move on.
He sounds so reasonable and logical, you can't help agreeing with him, even though there's this little thing in the back of your head going, but wait.
Again, like I said, I'm not deliberately selling myself short, because I'm not going to say that I didn't have an impact on it. I'm just saying, in terms of things that people would play out of the demo that would make them laugh out loud, unless it's like one of 5 specific moments, it was something that you wrote. That's all I'm saying.
Right. All right. Fair enough.
So anyways, he also closes off with a couple of extra notes. P.S. Does Anna help with the game?
Paul, what do you say?
Yeah, Anna helps us a tremendous amount with the game. In her mind right now, she's probably like, oh, they're inflating this, but that's only because she hasn't had much to do for like 2 or 3 weeks, but it's about to get really intense on her again. I'm not sure if she knows that. So,
but yeah, I've definitely played through it like 50 times so far.
And found a lot of things that we didn't catch. And so it's definitely...
That's a low number. Yeah, it's a low
keeps
number.
coming. I wake up and there's like a bunch of emails. No, this is the final version. No, this is the final. No. This one is the final version and the one you should play. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Time stamped like 2:50, 3:05 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah. And see, the thing is that we can't really, N is really valuable in the sense of like being the player for us and testing this even before it goes out to other beta testers. And the very important part of that is to not really include her in the writing process because, so much, you get so close to it, you can't see certain things. So we kind of need you to be our fresh eyes after we've been working on this for months at a time.
That's right.
Yeah, we need fresh eyes to look at this and say like, oh, okay, well, this is, this works, this doesn't. I tried this, I didn't understand that, or blah blah blah. Not that you didn't. You've actually breezed through the game so far. So, but I'm just saying that it's very valuable to have that extra perspective that we don't have.
You guys are great. You haven't been letting on with spoilers, and I've been picking through screenshots and, I like going through it blind like that. And don't worry, I'm not a writer, so I'd much prefer to play than write. That's my dig.
Anna's invaluable too in the sense that well, first of all, she's like like the perfect playtester because she sincerely, without instruction, clicks everything. She looks at and interacts with everything, which is just awesome because finds all kinds of little potential mistakes or errors, and I even threw in like an Easter egg just for her and Rick at the time, like kind of curious if I was testing her perverted side to see if she'd take the bait, and she did, of course, and it's like that's amazing. All right, she really does click absolutely everything. But
and I had no
was going
idea.
to say it's more than. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like it wasn't until I was like just randomly scanning through code that I like came across a bunch of dialogue. I was like, Paul, what the hell is this?
I'm still waiting for somebody else to find that too. That's great.
Or I mean, that was, to be fair, that was a version that didn't go out to anyone else. Only 3 of us played it, and if Paul sent it to anyone else, but but I mean, yeah. So that definitely has its benefits. I mean, it's also interesting to get to see what people do or don't or are inclined to miss if they don't do all that. But as like just sort of like testing all the bugs, like you definitely fished out a lot for us.
Well, you guys are sweet. Thanks. Now you've talked more about me playing the game than you guys making the damn game. Now, come on.
We work on it so much. It takes up so much of our like mental real estate that like we kind of are just tired of talking about it. So.
Yeah, it is. Before I forget, I was just forgetting. Because it's not just the testing that you do that's really helpful too. Because she's involved. We have like a host chat or like a message thing for the 3 of us, and so through that, like she's been crucial to like just I'll get in like a crossroads artistically where I'm like, do I do this one or this one? Like please just pick for me, like end it. And she's always there, and then even designing characters like the main. Female in the game, his name is Zoe, and Anna, you remember it was like 2 or 3 nights just going back and forth, trying to decide like who she was, decide who she was, and then match that visually, and so it's a lot more than just playtesting. It's just being there for us in general and laughing or not laughing, so we know.
And one final point from John Otter is PPS. Please do an episode on Gabriel Knight or Dave the Tentacle or Monkey Island.
Ooh.
So
okay.
That reminds me that I was playing through Dave the Tentacle. I kind of stopped, and it wasn't because of Maniac Mansion this time, because if you play it on Scum VM, it actually like you aren't able to unless you like install Maniac Mansion onto it. So I just that was like seriously, that saved me because I like tried to click on that computer and said like, yeah, we can't do that for you. But I have been playing it. I've not finished it yet. I kind of got sidetracked as I always do. But this does remind me that I do need to get back to it and finish it because I do want to talk about that game. I do want to talk about Gabriel Knight. I just haven't actually even started that one yet.
Neither.
And what was the other one? Was
Monkey Island?
Monkey Island, Which
we've kind of made a pact to never cover Monkey Island on the show.
Yeah.
And it's not through hatred. It's impossible to hate that game. Of course we love it. It's an amazing game, but it's just that's everyone's go-to. Everyone talks about Monkey Island. You could probably fill an episode if you were to just go through all of our episodes and cut out us talking about it. You'd definitely get at least an episode. It's just there's so much Monkey Island stuff out there. We're kind of more like, let's just, just not for right now. Because if you want Monkey Island stuff, you got it. There's plenty. Yeah. There's plenty out there.
Lots. Not exactly an underdog company, LucasArts. So.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Monkey Island is like the golden example for everyone. Like, every single time you see anyone reference, like, when you look at any other classic era adventure game, they'll reference Monkey Island, usually Guybrush, like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, like 19% is Day of the Tentacle. And then the remaining 1% is divvied up amongst every single ever game that's ever been made. Or adventure game anyways.
Monkey Island is the face of adventure games. It's like it's since working on the Phantom Fellows. Now, when I talk to people and you get the whole BSE, like, oh, so what are you up to? And if I even decide to mention that that's what I'm doing right now, and they're like, not a game related friend or whatever, I'll use Monkey Island. I'll be like, did you ever play Monkey Island? Have you ever heard of it? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Like it's the one way to be like, hey, this is what I'm talking about regarding adventure games.
Right.
Yeah.
For good reason. Although I will say, this would be normally something I'd say off mic, but sort of on topic. I was at the park with my child, and the conversation came up with a nice other dad, and I said exactly what I just said there. Led with Monkey Island, nothing, and then I said King's Quest, nothing, and then he paused and he's like, I think I played Police Quest as a kid. And I was like, yeah,
really? That's awesome.
Yeah, such a win. He's like, yeah, I loved that game. And he's like walking around the car and checking on it. It was his only recollection was the thing that everyone complains about, and he was so happy. He's like walking around the car and checking on it. Oh, I love that game. It was so pure.
So good.
Yeah.
And then did he get scared when you started throwing business cards at him and saying, please listen to our podcast and join our guild? Do you collect big boxes? And you never saw him at the park again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Said I was a close talker.
A little much, buddy.
Yeah. Interesting fact is that we actually, for a good part of our run, Paul and I actually had the similar such pact that we won't talk about anything King's Quest.
Yeah.
Until finally Paul wasn't there and we decided to bring Sarah Kelly on and talk about King's Quest 4. But before that...
Which was such a great episode.
Yes, which turned out to be a really good episode that did really well for us. But before that, we did have this sort of like, okay, let's see how long we can go without doing King's Quest and without doing Monkey Island. And actually, we even had Fate of Atlantis on there as well, because for the longest time, especially when we started, we kind of said that we were only going to focus on like the underdogs. And we kind of felt like, or, we're going to defend, not necessarily underdogs, we're going to defend games that kind of need defending. And we felt that Monkey Island, Fate of Atlantis, King's Quest, they didn't really need us to defend them.
Yeah, that's right. That was our angle at the time. I forgot about that completely. Yeah, we looked at it more like, because we could either defend it or or
spotlight something.
Or spotlight. We were just like, I think the last thing we were really trying to do was just bring up what's constantly brought up. But yeah, I mean, we're well into 100 plus episodes. I mean, never say never. I guess we could one day, but
we are just running out of things to talk about. Gabriel. Yeah, we are just sort of running out of things to talk about, so that's why we did Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and that led to great things. That led to us talking to Noah Falstein, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. It really did, and it was a great episode. And if you are wondering who he is or why you haven't listened to that episode yet, he is a lot, and he's done a lot, and go listen to that episode.
He's the man to thank for insult sword fighting.
He is.
Yeah,
originally the OG.
Anyways, so that concludes our mailbag. So unless any of you have anything further to add, I think I am about done.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you guys, and we, yeah, thank you. So come join the discussion, right, and the community. Follow us on Facebook. We're a page. We're a group. You can check us out. We're on Instagram at CGG Podcast. We're on Twitter. Do us a tweet at the CG Guild. Send us an email if you like. mail@classicgamersguild.com. Thank you very, very much to all of our Patreons. Really appreciate you guys, and we love you, and thank you so much. We would like to welcome 2 new Patreons in the extra special tier thanks, which is amazing.
Extra special tier thanks?
Yeah, extra special thanks tier.
There you go.
That was the right way? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Extra special thanks tier.
There's no way not to sound funny when you're saying it.
Fair enough, yeah.
See, this is what I do for the game.
That was perfect behind the curtains moment. So we want to welcome our new bloody extra special thanks tier patrons. We got 2 new ones, but one of them is 2 people, and that's Una and Gus. Hey guys, thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
guys.
here. Yeah, and also Jean-Francois Paget. Is that?
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Did I sound? Okay.
Correct us if we're wrong. We will correct it because we are going to have to see your name like after every episode. So please don't keep us perpetuating a mispronunciation if we're wrong.
And you guys ever tell me if I accidentally start to try to sound French when I say it, because that's offensive and we can't be doing that. So.
Such an addictive accent. It's hard not to.
Well, it's hard
That's
not to try,
is
but
it?
no one gets it right. That's the
No, I can
offensive
never
part,
get it
is that
right.
no one can get it right.
Yeah.
I can't, and I live in, I live basically on the border of Quebec.
I don't know, man. I have a real sense of unearned confidence right now.
Don't even try,
Think
please.
I'm gonna do
Please
it.
don't. No. Just close out. And.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining, and also to Jay Holmes and Mark Fillion, who are also in the tier that's hard to say, the special one. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Go check out Mark's game, Chinatown Detective Agency, on Steam and wishlist it. Bloody wishlist our game too, Phantom Fellows, while you're there. Bloody, I feel fine about that. I feel a little dirty. It's fine. Do all them things we said if you want to. And thanks for listening. Don't do murder.